are nuts for him to actually be able to throw at people if he gets snowballed as well and his damage output becomes very, very high.
Yeah, it just feels frustrating to play into, for sure, from what we've seen constructed here, and then we'll see if they can just get through that laning phase and get to that point where they can just play keep way through the entire game. And as we get into game, we're getting the coach with us. We have Volt joining us once again. How are you, Volt?
I'm very well, thank you.
All right, so first off, I'm going to ask you, what do you think about Mordekaiser? Because first picked, big priority here for Gravitas. What's your opinion?
Mordekaiser is a weird one. It's had like up and down success in all the scrims that we've seen. We don't know if it's like actually that good. People just sort of respect banning it, I think, because they don't really know if it's good or not. No one's seen like a competitive region play it because Korea it's disabled in. China, I think, don't have access to it either. I'm pretty sure. So
until today or yesterday,
yeah,
I think.
So there's a lot of like big question marks about if it's good or not. But we have what's probably a good matchup into it. So I think we're happy.
And looking towards your composition as well, I would say that you've actually got one of the stronger compositions available to teams right now. But in terms of styles, it's drastically different to someone like Order's comp in last game. So do you guys as the Chiefs believe that this like long-range poke type of composition with disengage is the best? Or is this just where you guys have really wound up this week?
It's not so much like this is the best comp ever. It's more so that it's how draft played out for us. It was like really good to take all of our picks into their champions and the comp works together. So that's the main thing that we're looking toward here. We got good matchups pretty much everywhere and the comp works together. So that's the main.
And I think we have a pretty obvious question here to ask Volt. Cupcake, what's going on?
So we saw the success of the Swiper plus DN rotation, like as a 6-man roster, and having like the experience versus like the young fingers of DN, I suppose. It's proved really useful. I think Swiper's in basically like close to career best form, and DN is obviously like he hasn't lost on stage yet. He's looking really good. He just had a really good match against Direwolves yesterday. So with Cupcake finishing his uni semester, he has a lot of time to just fly over here and just scrim with us and be able to play on stage. So we're just going to integrate him into a 7-man roster and do a similar thing, we hope, and hopefully that makes Ayla better and Cupcake better.
Cool. And where do you see the team right now in terms of the rest of the league, to be honest? Because you look at Gravitas and it seems like it should just be a gimme, right? But where do you feel like your team is?
I think there's always potential to upset in best of ones. So I don't think Gravitas are easy beat by any means. We nearly lost to them last time with arguably like an Exodia comp of like, I think it was Sedra or Camille we had. But like we rate ourselves up with the top teams, like with Mammoth Bombers. They're the main two competitors with us right now. I don't think we're clearly better or clearly worse than them. It's all like you know, every game is like a 50-50 kind of. Depends how draft goes, depends how we play, who shows up on the day, that kind of stuff.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you very much.
Alright, so it's just trading in lane, really. Claire getting pushed back a little bit. Not a whole lot happened in the early game, just a bit of trading in these lanes, to be honest. I'm looking towards top lane, obviously. Mordekaiser getting pushed in here by Nico.
Yeah, so it needs to be spoken towards. Volt said that he thinks it's a pretty good matchup. I can tell you that it's just a fantastic matchup. You know, Nico, range champion, auto attack based damage as well as spell based damage. Pabu's shield on his W, you don't get to like level 3. Nope. You sometimes do it at 2 in a really hard matchup, and that's something that Pabu could have done, but he chose not to. In saying that, Nico wins the lane from level 1 till level 6, and at level 6 probably still handles their opponent well, and it's just really hard to be a Mordekaiser into this matchup. So by blind first picking it, it just felt wrong, you know, as someone that has seen these matchups before. But still, it's the conscious choice that they have chosen, so a lot of confidence in the pick and a lot of belief that it will still become relevant and still be strong. Because the thing with Mord is, let's just say you're 30 CS behind, and they want to dive you, they can't because you're level 6. Like, it's an isolated 1v1, you then have a tower with you backing up the damage, so you still exist, you are still so relevant. You could be 150 CS behind, but you ult the enemy AD carry that is 7-0, and for 7 seconds he can't kill the rest of your team, and you just run away. Like, there are so many things that you can do that make this champion amazing. Enemy team's doing Baron, you want to smite seal it away, just go take their jungler. It's not even a smite seal anymore, you just secure it for yourself and they leashed it, you know? Like, so many amazing opportunities for the champion, and that does, in certain ways, just add up to be more important than a matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the theory of, like, you know, old Poppy when Poppy saw a lot of play. It was just like, and you just remove 25,000 gold late game because you just knocked 2 people away from a fight.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much Mordekaiser you've played or how much Yorick you've played, but they feel like weirdly similar in terms of their threat ranges,
Yorick,
how their skills work. Yeah, because you throw out your E and slow and then you run at them with Yorick. With Mordekaiser, you kind of do the same as you probably see here with Death's Grasp walking against the wall, Praylist following through, flash over the wall there by Swiper. And you imagine probably start that one off with desk wraps. So you're kind of like, in terms of threat range and where you can really jump on your opponent, it's very similar, but Mordekaiser just feels better right now. You know, your abilities do very similar things, like Q, extra damage.
But usually the difference is you can team fight. Pulse, I would say, is...
I mean, yeah, sure.
You know, I would say, like, the other example I could give to further that, right, is like Zed's a good champion, but only sometimes, and has to split push later.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, in some matchup, you can't even split push, you know? Like, if Federelia comes in, you're done. But a Kiana is a Zed that can split push. So she's going to be more relevant than him in terms of meta, and I would know. That's all I bloody play.
I've seen the Twitter highlight clip.
But like that ability to team fight, you know, the fact that similar to a Mordekaiser where you can ult someone at a Baron, Kiana presses ult at Baron, everyone's stunned, like much more relevant, you know, much more useful. And that utility does trend into why is something relative in a competitive meta opposed to just what is strong in solo queue, like the Zed and the Yoriks that can split push to victory.
That's what I find very interesting about champions who have non-damage ultimates, right? Because they always have value that you can't always just like look at monetary value or look at just pure damage is just going to just kill my opponent, right? It's like when Talia came out, she has so much in the rest of the kit in terms of damage, and then her ultimate's, you know, a non-damage ultimate, which is obviously highly impactful.
Yeah.
And the same with Mordekaiser, like no matter what point in the game you are. Yeah, Shen, you know, global teleport.
He's good for that. Twisted Fate when back when he was meta in mid lane.
He was the OG. Yeah, he was the original.
Always good for that.
Problem with being a melee champion, CSing underneath tower into a range matchup, and specifically Nico top lane. It's not a fun experience, but in terms of farm, not doing too badly. We're actually seeing the rest of Chiefs, though, moving on to Dragon here. This will be the first dragon of the game in the form of a mountain. Alright, what do you think the next dragon's going to be here, Rusty?
Ocean.
Ocean.
I don't think we've had a cloud today, so I'm just going to go with that as Nico has ulted top lane.
Harry.
Welcome to Global Indicators in Spectator.
Yep. Swiper walking past this brush. Level 6 on both these guys.
You'd hesitate here if you're Parbu just a little bit. Note that if you ult as the Mordekaiser, you take 10% of stats, including health, so he's looking for the fight.
Lands the full combo, leads with Obliterate. In comes Praylist from the side as well. Swiper drinking into the brush, but he's just straight up dead here. Not a whole lot he could do after Mordekaiser's on his face.
Not at all, and that's the thing with Mordekaiser Ultimate. Stealing 10% of stats, AP, AD, health included into that actually does mean that when you're low, you're not always as low as you think. So, nice play from Gravitas to get the kill. Swiper Flash was burnt earlier, is taken down straight away at level 6. Only
has found Decoy, will flash away from this one. In comes the big rocket. Hits Hayri and by proxy Decoy as well, so we will take a trip back to base. Yeah, he found the Corki and it's like, if only I had damage here, you would be dead, Corki, but unfortunately I'm support. So, in order to get it, goes back to base, and Chiefs, it opens up an option for them to go into the jungle and take away this red buff.
Yeah, be able to steal away, of course, the red buff from their opponents. Dragon was secured earlier. Take a second to look at your mini-map as well, and you'll see a whole lot of red wards on the bottom side of the map, and that control is, you know, what gets them the potential of a gank in the middle lane as well. So, well done from Chiefs to be trading, but the cost, you would say, is relatively high. And, you know, one thing that we didn't note as to why is that even possible, you know, what enables Praylist to get that first gank on the top side. A lot of mid-priority is usually available in the Corki versus Zir matchup for the Azir. Early, level 1, you just have more threat, you have more wave clear, just with the soldiers that you can place down to auto-attack from longer ranges. So through that, you know, Praylist is able to path towards top side, get the early moves, and because the flash is burnt, the kills there at level 6, and there is a win condition available for Gravitas, which I think is the key takeaway at this point.
Yeah, now though, Claire has the package, and he's like scale up just a little bit as well. Has the Sheen, also went towards Call. And see Xayah actually did the same thing in the bottom lane, just farming on up here for Gravitas.
Cheeky sorcery potion available as well. Blue Elixir if he wants to pop that one.
Yeah.
Actually super useful in terms of Kleptos if you're pushing turrets. So you can pop that one, deal bonus damage to structures. Helps you take it down a little bit quicker, which is nice also with a Sheen proc, especially as a champion like Corki.
And I believe it lasts for 90 seconds as well. It's actually pretty significant.
They're all good, really. And the Elixir of Skill, the ever-elusive, a level up.
Yeah, I always forget this possibility. It's a very low chance. Hayri's going to get caught in rotation, but will come with a full combo, knock Claire into the tower. Takes a tower shot, but will shake it off pretty much, as Hayri is definitely on the receiving end of that one for sure. Has the blue buff.
Not a horrible trade at all. Claire actually choosing the hard push instead of using his lifesteal as well indicates exactly this, that only is nearby and they're going to threaten.
Oh, we're still looking for it, yeah. Predator popped. Gragas with Flash E and Ultimate available, so Harry having to very much respect that, stay out of the Gragas threat range. Will be okay. Decoy also wandering up towards this mid lane. You can see a lane swapper coming in from now. Gravitas, Pabu moving towards this bottom lane.
And I guess if you're going to initiate the lane swap so aggressively like this at 10 minutes, it's not just a Herald swap. It's a big gambit that they can't dive Pabu. You know, he is going to stance very forwards, very aggressively. And a Lux and an Ezreal can poke from long range, but can they dive? You know, if the Gragas comes, he just ults the Gragas and suddenly damage is missing. So I think this is a big part of the gambit that they've chosen to take, where Chiefs can only poke Pabu down while he survives and perseveres, and they get the Herald as a trade to maybe look at a turret during that time.
Yeah. Top side, it's going to be Gravitas moving towards his Herald. Should be a pretty much a free take, essentially, because of the swap up, so yeah, that's one thing they will be able to just easily get because of this lane swap here. Maybe even moves up from the mid lane, actually.
Yeah, it secures it. They could actually place it straight away in top side if Harry wants to continue to get mid lane priority as well.
Yeah.
I think that is possible, though I wouldn't say it's a 100% you must do this. With the way that they've forced the swap, however, it's not a bad idea to try and continue to get those plates in before 14 minutes. So they will summon it. And the gambit that we were discussing with Gravitas has been put into effect here, so it will be first turret for either of these teams, most likely Gravitas, as they've got the Herald to push it in, and Pabu is trying to hold with his face, just putting his face in it.
Ooh, he's popped ultimate, and now he's just charging after race. You could actually see he was against the edge of the arena, had nowhere to run. Pabu will find a 1 versus 2 kill.
And that's it, first turret and a kill going over to Gravitas. They save the turret in bot lane because Gragas doesn't go down there as well. They don't threaten the dive. They just enable or allow even Pabu to step up and try and hold that one.
Uh-oh.
There's mid.
Claire flashes forwards. Ooh, tries for it. Claire will still get the kill, but there's a lot of mind games coming out there.
Yeah, I think he was actually going to try and ult Claire towards his own turret to perhaps try and force the trade, but just has to press the buttons as fast as he can before he dies. And well done here from Claire in the mid lane to secure the kill. It does give them an opportunity to push forwards if they'd like and hit the turret plates, but not this time. Mountain Dragon is available.
I will say that Mordekaiser in spectator mode, not that cool. You know,
no,
he
not
pops
at all.
ultimate and you're just like, there's like a little orb on top of someone and that's it. You know, I want to see the arena, I want to see something, but...
You know, one of the best things about Mordecai, we'll talk about what happens here first.
Mid lane.
Claire is able to just chunk him out, hits all of his spells, a nice little dash away so the Hayri couldn't ult, it seems, and Hayri wasn't going for the all-in trade.
Finds the rocket.
But Claire wants it. So stopwatch is in, but Claire also had the Q timing, and you can see what he was thinking there, Hayri, but a little bit aggressive. And I mean, Claire knew what he could do, he knew his limits and took it. What was I going to say? I was talking about Mordekaiser. Okay, so the thing that I thought was really funny with Mordekaiser in practice, ever since he's been enabled, is that you're, like, as the person playing it, you have no idea what happened in a team fight.
Yeah.
So like, you're a pro player, you're watching the game, you're like, well, I 1v1'd this guy, I don't know what happened with you guys, but I did my job. And you have to watch every single VOD in team fights and be like, well, what actually happened here? Like, how did we lose?
Yeah. That's a very unique situation to be in, to be honest.
A lot of the time you'll come to a post game and you're like, check out what I did.
Yeah.
Because no one else can see your 1v1 as well.
And that's every team fight. Yeah, at the very least, I'd just like to see the edge of the arena, because you could see that Raze was clearly trapped up against it because he was unable to juke back any further, but we didn't really see it on the client. So as we saw it, it was just like, why are you standing still, Ezreal? Ezreal and Mordekaiser hitting you. Got for first item, Proto Belt, which is obviously very useful for a champion with no dash.
Yeah, but that isn't a Rylai's or a Leandri's. So
No.
he doesn't have as much sticking potential as a Rylai's and doesn't have as much damage as a Leandri's. There's a nice stopwatch, keeps him alive for a bit.
Completely obliterated there by Raze, and Decoy now under attack. Claire jumps the walls, he's hit by the death charge. Payless just backing away with his team. It would just be the kill onto the AD carry, but second dragon confirmed by Chiefs. That's another one in 3.5 minutes from now, so just
Third
keeping control of the area. Yeah, 3 mountains to start off the game.
And we just saw the potential that Chiefs have got as well through their composition. It was something that was secured from them since draft phase. You put a Corki and Ezreal or Lux in the same area. As, hang on a second, only.
Only has been caught up by Hayri. He was actually recalling in that brush, and just Zia turned the corner, found the Gragas with no ult, no resources.
Pabu
just killed him. Cupcake, planting him in place, but dodges
7
the
seconds in
obliterate.
the arena.
Yeah, and now Cupcake just has to run circles
Duke
and hope
Cupcake.
for the best. Flashes the wall, gets out of it, and Pabu away with no kill. Dredgeline onto Raze, and yeah, unsuccessful there for the Mordekaiser.
That was a flash ultimate from Parbu. Just every spell dodged by Cupcake shows that he's still got the mechanics there, even though he's got the old man coach hands. Knows what he's doing when it comes to Mordekaiser, so well navigated from the Lux.
That's scary though, when Mordekaiser's beelining it towards you. Proto Belt. This guy's gonna catch me. But yeah, you're right. No sticking power, but I feel like kind of a necessity, or at very least an adaptation against this composition where everybody's going to play, I would say like 200 units outside of where you effectively want to be.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you just like need an ability to get on top of your opponents in the first place. Otherwise, you would just never get there. Unless you're using Flash or get like an amazing flank off a TP.
Yeah, I mean, some of the spells are very important for that, right?
Yeah,
so teleport flanks. Kind of like last game, we were highlighting the need for the Renekton to get a flank if they wanted to, or like teleport in a good spot if they wanted to be most effective. Similar thing in this game for the Mordekaiser, and honestly, it's super important, and we mentioned this in draft as well, for the bot lane to be able to make something happen, because right now, and for the rest of this game, if the game happens in just mid lane, they're outranged Gravitas. You know, Raid does nothing. He literally cannot step up without a Nico E or a Lux Q going at his face, and then there's a Corki Rocket, there's a Gragas ultimate. There's too much for him to deal with, so he needs to either be ahead so that he's the focal point, can outplay if they're trying to dive, or they need to have the map position, more importantly, around objectives or places that they want to be to make the Chiefs come to them, so that he can't just stand there and just cop an onslaught of skill shots from too far away for him to counterplay.
It's just an annoying amount of CC, but yeah, looking for an invade here, Travis. If we can get it. Harry's there with the damage. Attempts on the steal there from Cupcake.
Yeah. Good attempt, because it's trying to get that away from the Azir. Maybe he forced the smite from Praylist. He didn't have it up, of course, but if you force that, then that's a win, because it's not on an Azir, who definitely needs that for the wave clear. And right now, I wonder where Gravitas go once this turret gets poked down and they get to reset once again. Is it going to be the continuation of like an answer mid lane, which is where the Chiefs want to be, or do they put someone on a side lane and say, this is how we play this game out? Because I feel like most of that then just belongs to Mordekaiser, and he has to effectively carry this game or Gravitas win the vision battles.
Right. And currently, we've pretty much gone back to just standard lane assignments. We have the duo lane in mid lane, we have the mid laners in top lane, we have the top laners in bottom lane. Everyone's just matching each other right now. We've got 20 seconds until the next dragon, though. And Chiefs finding themselves triple mountain would be pretty huge to start off the game, you know, as Baron starts becoming an option. That's just straight up an extra 30% damage on towers and monster objectives. And we've got double Triforce spike as well here. So,
yeah, this will be the moment.
Chiefs are feeling pretty strong.
The Gravitas have actually set up. So the thing that we needed for them was to have vision control around an objective. They've got it. And now the moment is, can Chiefs get the pick?
Well, Decoy's being caught, but he did manage to dance the Dredge line, buying a bit of time only. Great cask. A Decoy will just drop there to Only's cask. Throws out another disengage. Prayler's going to grab Gragas' ultimate. That's a 1 for 0 so far, and Chiefs on the hunt. Claire is cycling around them. Cupcake stepping forward. They got him. Finds the bind as well, and the full combo comes in. Claire laying down the damage will find him. And Emperor's Divide just throws up the wall of soldiers. Not going to be enough to save him.
And I still can't help but feel like the composition is impossible to play here for Gravitas. A single pick as Parbu is hunting.
Misses the death scraps up there, but still gets the kill onto Only. Raze jumps away, does not want to get caught by his Parbu's ultimate.
Yeah, you take that trade, you feel good about it if you're Gravitas, because that actually means you can move over and have some agency towards the Mountain Dragon.
Yeah.
Chiefs, off the reset, will have 2 teleports if they would like to contest this one. It is a possibility, but probably not the best case scenario. As for a second there, you want to say, you know, it was well done from Chiefs, and then they are the ones who get picked shortly afterwards, but they've teleported. They've said this is something we can look at. Note the Parbu has ult.
Yeah, double teleports on this one, and Parbu is just getting slowly chunked down, turns around, looking towards Claire right now, does not kill him with the Proto Belt. Dredge line, unfortunate, hits the terrain. Was obviously looking towards carry right there, but yeah, Dragon lost, but a kill on the backside, plus that initial kill there for Chiefs and the mid lane tower. Not a bad trade.
Yeah, no ward's close enough to teleport and contest the Dragon, so they'll go to the blue buff, and they will be able to get that trade, which is nice to have. You know, Parbu being dead for 20 seconds gives a whole lot of agency around map control. And that's the thing, the Chiefs, they should be playing that macro game, and the fact that they get a pick, they run straight mid lane instead of forcing a fight of the Mountain Dragon, a good exhibit as to what their plans really are. Play the siege comp, play the poke comp, do what you're best at, and don't play to your opponent's game at the objective. Navigate that game. But one mistake, of course, means the pick goes over and the trade is available for Gravitas. Still in this game.
And that's what the game feels like, right? Like, Chiefs have the agency up until they don't, right? Like, Gravitas, if they manage to all just get on top of Chiefs at the same time and you just find them in a pit, it's like, yeah, just fight me at the pit. And Gravitas suddenly just have a chance because you're up against a very glass cannon lineup into very heavy hitters close range. So there's still a chance for Gravitas, but yeah, it seems like Chiefs have just had very good execution over not only this game, but last couple games. So we'll see if they slip up, but it really just is on that, a slip up.
Predators sprinting their way through the blue side jungle as well, so protecting Claire in the side lane. Again, they're not playing a 1-3-1. They're not even playing a hard 1-4. They're grouping, they're getting objectives together, and utilizing their composition in the most effective way that they possibly can, the Chiefs. And right now, it's playing mid to top, close distance between the areas, and only one place where really Vision needs to go. So smart choice from them overall is controlling the map state goes. Now they move to the top inner more aggressively.
This is what we're looking for, just rotating from lane to lane as your ultimate comes across, but the tower is already dead. And Chiefs get the inner tower, securing more topside pressure, more vision around as well, as the Baron is still very much an objective that these players will be looking towards.
Yeah, they're actually going to start the Baron at 21 minutes. No tanks, but a Lux is able to navigate around that pretty effectively.
This is dying very
Nico just altered to zone them away from it as well. Silas, Prayless very low with no flash. It's dead.
Wow, double mountain with this composition with spikes on Triforce is enough just to nuke the Baron down. And Chiefs, yeah, I mean, it was blue trinketed, but there was nothing that Gravitas could do to catch up.
The vision control in the blue side quadrant was just too much. The hook is on though, they want to fight.
Red line's good, but the flash away. Swiper coming in from the sides, already used the ultimate though, and Decoy just drops dead underneath the tower.
Well, the disengage still proves too strong. I feel like we're watching what happens when two drafts collide and you're more comfortable with one draft.
Yep. Really unfortunate. Feels like a bit of a game of rock, paper, scissors. And Raid being chased out, throws off the Feather Storm, catches the ultimate.
And how's he going to defend this turret now? What tools does he have that could actually deal with this? Again, it's so smart from the Chiefs. They're playing really good League of Legends. It's clear the difference that having Swiper and Cupcake is for macro.
Super Soaker, Swiper, pops the ultimate, and it's going to be a trade here. Jungler for top laner. Chiefs not able to stick around anymore. As Pavo has chanced Claire to a 1v1 inside his base. Oh, flashes the obliterate, but now he was in the middle of two people who he could not see.
He didn't know they were there. He was dead. Oh no.
What a great ultimate.
Claire unfortunately uses his W after being hit by the Q as well, so he was just destined to die, unfortunately. And once again, the Chiefs, they are still trading, and those trades are giving, it's giving money into the pockets of Gravitas, which is really important for them. Getting closer to 3 items on a Mordekaiser, and at a certain point, he is just that strong a champion. But otherwise, they've been playing really well.
At what point does it turn into a game of, you know that game, was it the bomb game, right? Where it's like, keep talking, nobody explodes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, but you have to communicate to your one guy who's put up by Mordekaiser. And
My God.
Don't flash left.
Can I just say, that game, now you've mentioned it, never play with Raz.
Yeah, I mean, we played in our apartment, it was an absolute disaster.
That was something special.
You and me, though,
yeah.
Pretty good combo.
Not bad.
Yeah, I feel like that's just a whole new avenue of communication that you suddenly just have to do in League of Legends now. Is like communicate to your one guy like what he needs to look out for when he comes back.
Yeah,
or if he makes it back.
If he's the only one fighting, then you'd say, "Well, mate, there's 4 red dots around you, so I hope you trade."
Yep.
That has happened more than once.
Chiefs are moving into the bottom side. Ooh, fight though. Taking Gravitas. They're in the shadows, and they show themselves.
You can't just sit back and wait to die if you are Gravitas. You use the Nautilus. Prayless, of course, taking the Gragas ultimate, another tool that they could potentially use to engage if they would like. Though he's the Conqueror Silas, so his engage isn't that great. And he's also chosen the Proto Belt, not Azonia's just yet. If he does engage, he dies. The question is, how good is the engage at that point?
And flank spookies, very annoying. Because it just lines you up for skill shots.
Yeah. Chiefs won't let you engage. They're just going to sit here, they're going to use Baron. They're going to poke at a distance that you can't contest with. The only thing that really closes it is a flash or a Nautilus hook. Otherwise, they just lose the game slowly.
That's what it feels like. And because Chiefs are just playing the macro so well, starved all the vision here from Gravitas, there's going to have to be maybe just a crazy teleport here from Pabu, maybe behind the Chiefs and just run at them. But even then, there's so much CC, so much disengage for them. Just being suffocated out of this game.
The Azir turret helps a lot here, though. It holds the fort for just long enough, it feels like, to force Chiefs back and force the disengage completely. You know, health bar starting to wane for Cupcake. Mana starting to become a little bit low for Raze. And, you know, while he has the teleport, the fact that the person who has to place all of the vision for you is too low means that you'll just disengage. And, you know, of all things to disengage to, not a bad option.
Yeah, run away, pick up an Infernal Dragon, go back to base, and get to spend all the gold you just accrued as well. So it's not a bad situation at all for the Chiefs. I mean, the fact that you don't have an engage in the first place is just testament to how well Chiefs are playing the push there into Gravitas. Gravitas at the same time have 2 teleports available. So if they do look for that one big engage and big flank, then they could theoretically look for it.
This is where you can take stock of the game state, however, and look at things that are needed to make these plays happen, you know? So, first of all, control wards. How are they placed right now between these teams? A lot more space available for the Chiefs currently. A Doran's Ring and a Corrupting Potion could be sold if you were Harry to add to that, but he's also really highly prioritizing his item spikes because he needs to be doing all the damage for the team. On the other side as well, there's 2 stopwatches for their disengaged members, so they could also be engaged tools now. And that actually enables the Chiefs a whole lot more, as well as having those extra control wards to place and control in general over Summoner's Rift.
Coming in, Distress misses. Chiefs got the teleport, maybe looking to move forwards here. Ooh, good pin against the wall there with the explosive cats, but maybe able to really follow up. There's Ezreal ultimate coming across, chunked out Raid.
That's a package on Claire though, he could go.
Getting out of there. He's down to half, but immediate depth charge. The rest of the team isn't here, but it's enough to push Claire away. And Pabu under attack though, Raze is constantly hammering down with these Mystic shots. Redemption healing up the rest of Chiefs, and they are just going to keep on pushing this mid lane. Only looking towards Hayri, he flashes away, turns around the Sand Soldiers. Getting caught out by the Essence Flux, jumps to the wall, Prayless. Again, another dash away, and Chiefs, you see, just
teleport in, Pabu.
This has got to be it here for the Gravitas lineup. Pabu right behind him, has the ultimate ready to go, comes in. Who's he going to pick? Moves on to Claire, gets that first kill, looking towards the rest of Chiefs.
He's got the rest of them.
And in comes the hook from Decoy, it's good. But the stun is down onto the AD carry, and Raid unable to put out the damage. He cannot get out of the CC chain. Now turns towards Only, but Cupcake is pushing forwards. Raze as well. And with the rest of Gravitas, Pabu finds a second of the fight.
And that should just be the disengage here for the remnants of the Chiefs. A fantastic teleport flank once again from Pabu. He's able to make the play needed to keep them in this game. And Raid buys as much time as his little body can handle on the Xayah. And Hayri comes in at the end, and that's what forces the full disengages. Cupcake.
Oh, he's found it.
Oh, he's in trouble now.
Yeah. Indestructible into Obliterate. There it is. Not a lot you can do there, but good catch once again. That's Pabu's 3rd fight, essentially. That was 2 kills in the fight and then a follow-up one.
And proof in the pudding there, you know, 6-1 and 2, Pabu at the end of that fight is a very big deal on this Mordecai. As you see how it starts, and note that the Chiefs use everything, you know. All the tools we said they could do to engage, they use to try and kill Hayri, and he survives. So because he is alive, they're able to actually force this fight. Gravitas, Pabu flash ults Claire, steals 10% of his stats and gets to keep them for the rest of this. And that was without using his E, which is what pulls them back in. Now, Swiper hits a very good ultimate on the rest of Gravitas, really feeling that momentum to step up and go forward. So he's able to effectively match the trade that was taken out. But Pabu's still alive, now 6-1. Very big deal on Summoner's Rift.
That's basically best case scenario there for Gravitas. Raze being pushed back in the mid lane. Gravitas actually moving with a bit of gusto. You can moving over to the Baron area and actually have control right now, Rusty.
This is a spooky situation, weirdly enough, for the side of the Chiefs. And, you know, it was mentioned in the coach interview last time these two teams faced each other. Chiefs had an Exodia comp and they almost lost the game still. This time around, I would say Chiefs, again, have out-comped their opponents, but it's closer than you would like.
Oh, no.
Prayless in a lot of trouble.
Getting caught by everything, goes into the stopwatch. But yeah, there is no getting out of this one. And with Jungler down, Baron on the field, Chiefs, that was precisely what they were looking for, really. I mean, this game feels like a bull and a matador, right? And one time the ball gets a good hit in, but Chiefs have just found it once again. Parbu pushing towards the pit. Already half health. Throws out the ultimate onto Only. The rest of the team fighting in the background. But Decoy already dead. Parbu will get the kill in return. Ray tries his best 1v4. But Parbu, well, he's won the 1v1. He cannot win the 1v5. 4 kills over to the Chiefs.
That may just be game as well. You've got 12 seconds on Silas. It's Hayri against the world and a Baron buff. So we can't even clear the minions. He's just used his ultimate on 2 people that are fighting him as well. And he's just going to die. That's basically the game there with the ace secured by the Chiefs.
Yeah, Hayri tried it there. Went in with the ultimate. Not going to be enough damage. And now it's just Predators versus the world. 4 members here. And Chiefs, it was looking a little bit iffy for a second. But they will be able to get the pig, take the Baron, and close out the game in 30 minutes.
And another good game overall from the side of the Chiefs. You know, there's a couple of takeaways that you have positives for certain individuals on the side of Gravitas, but I still can't help but feel like this is one of those games where you really look at it and you say draft was a pretty big factor in this one. And Gravitas, with all the moments they found, was against the grain. And the grain was always going the way of the Chiefs through this one. They outranged their opponents. The Xayah pick made it nearly impossible to be an AD carry in this game as well. And it's not that there were many better options for him ultimately.
Yeah, because Sivir was banned.
Spot.
Yeah, it's one of those situations like, I wish we had a Sivir if it was not banned. But yeah, it was a really good draft coming out from the Chiefs.